Cool. Let's just start really quick with we got some of the specs for the Nothing phone, and
I saw this.
Still haven't seen a price, but they're taking pre-orders, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, so we now know that it's a Snapdragon 778G. And that's the chip that's inside. So again, I guess we were kind of talking about this a little bit last week.
Yes.
Where it was like, how is this phone going to differentiate itself against all the other phones? It's a startup company. And I think we saw these lights and the transparent design, and it was pretty clear that that's going to be how it differentiates itself, rather than the previous Carl Pei playbook, which is we're going to appeal to enthusiasts and give it the full-on like best specs for the money treatment.
Yeah.
This is definitely not that. The 7 Series chip is fine, but it's not going to be like one of those like, wow, I want this phone because of the specs.
Yeah, you're not maxing out this phone. Like you said, like the old one was kind of like you were the sleeper phone. You had all the specs, you had all the power from it, and then you were making a couple sacrifices on the rest of it.
It reminds me of that meme where I think it's usually used about NFTs, but it's like a guy in the corner of a party like, nobody here knows that I have 18 gigs of RAM on my phone, but I do. It's one of those things.
I could see that.
For OnePlus phones. But with the Nothing phone, it'll just be right in your face. It'll flash. It'll flash right in your face.
Yeah, it'll see. Everybody knows that I have the phone that lights up on the back. Yeah, I think I think knowing this solidified my thought process on it a little more, which was this feels like it's kind of going similar to their headphones. I call it like the Beats route, which is like, I am a very fun, interesting to look at phone. My design is really cool. Like holding this phone is cool. And I'm going to now, it looks like the sacrifices are going to be made on the performance side, which is still good performance. But like Beats aren't going to compare to like the Sony in terms of sound quality, but they're going to like look cooler than the Sony.
So I was going to ask, are you going with like 2009 Beats or like 2019 Beats?
Am I that behind on Beats?
2009 Beats were like, they're going to be more expensive and they're going to be flashy and they're going to spend money on ads, but they're going to sound legitimately crazy if you actually want like good quality. Like they just have huge bass. They don't sound good. Where like in 2019, they sound fine, but they're clearly not the focus still.
Newer age, like this is going to be a fine phone, and the majority of people who use it are going to be happy with it. But like the focus is the design.
It's
the
hard
focus
to make
is
a bad phone at this point.
Exactly.
It's pretty hard. Okay, yeah. So we know about it. I think they had something like 200,000 people, pre-order this phone, and they all paid $25 non-refundable to get in line. Non-refundable to me is interesting.
I do not know how I feel about that.
I don't know how they landed on $25, but non-refundable I'm not a big fan of. But it's only $25. This is the thing. If they're like non-refundable $50, I'd be like, that's a lot. That's too much money. If they said non-refundable $5, I'd be like, that's no money. Why would you even say non-refundable? Just make it refundable. People just get in line for $5. But non-refundable $25 feels like fundraising. It's just right in that gray area.
I don't like it. And it's like, I do agree with you. $25 doesn't seem that bad, but like, let's compare it to pre-ordering like Cybertruck was $100, right? $100 refundable, but $100 compared to the, let's assume, 50,000 plus price tag on it.
So
it's a very small margin.
The ratio between the pre-order.
I feel like if you make the comparison, the ratio has to be mentioned there. Right, okay. And like $100 for a car is not that bad of and it's refundable.
Yeah. So if we just guesstimate the price of the phone, that would be kind of like the equivalent of paying like several $1,000s to pre-order a Cybertruck.
And it's non-refundable. So, and you don't know the specs of the Cybertruck and you don't know the final price of the Cybertruck, and the credit will go there if you buy it, but you'll have to wait in line for it and you won't know what it is. So you better hope it's
That's a really good point.
I don't know. It's a very interesting and unfortunately not a very surprising way they're handling it. So yeah, but 200,000 pre-orders, that's like 5 million.
It's a lot of people.
There you go.
Okay.
Great start for nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go into, while we're on the topic of phone, let's just check out the Xiaomi Me 12S Ultra.
Oh, this one. I got it right here.
Dubbing this the Minion phone.
This is, okay. So video viewers, I'm holding it. Audio listeners, just picture a phone where you've seen like the iPhone has like a triple camera array at the top with the pros, and it's up in the corner. And then you've seen like some that have an even bigger like triple camera array. Imagine just one gigantic like cyclops eye in the middle of the top of the phone. That's what this is. It kind of looks like a Minion if you squint, and if it was wearing overalls.
A matte black everything Minion.
A matte black. Well, it's like a leatherette, a fake leather back. But this is the phone. I've had a lot of, you know what? I have a hot take about this phone.
Okay.
I'm still testing it, and we're still working on what will turn into our video about it.
Okay.
But overall, solid phone, right? Very high end specs. This is the Ultra from Xiaomi. So you remember the Xiaomi, I think it was the 11 Ultra last year, which had the screen on the back and the whole crazy back of the phone thing. So this is their high-end phone. 6.7 inch, 120 hertz, LTPO OLED, Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, high-end chip, IP68 water resistance, 4,860 milliamp hour battery, chargers at 67 watts, wireless chargers at 50, reverse wireless chargers at 10 watts. It's got all the features. But the cameras are the main, like the clear thing. And from the 2.5 days that I've used it, this smartphone, is the hot take, is capable of the best smartphone photos of any camera, any smartphone.
That's not where I thought you were going, and I'm here for it.
It's just a couple of things I've noticed, and I'll show you some of these too as I'm talking about them.
I mean, can we talk about the tweet that you posted actually, where we're giving it away here, but you tweeted 2 photos. It's kind of like under a bridge on a field at nighttime with a big stadium light on. One is from the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and one you just posted a mystery contender. Well, spoiler alert, it is the Minion phone.
Yep.
And a lot of people are guessing a lot of different things in here. To be honest, I like the 12S photo better.
It is the one on the right. It is a little bit brighter, a little more vibrant and saturated. But
it definitely
handles the exposure way better and has way less noise and way better highlight protection.
Yeah, the lights is the clear difference here. Like one is just a ball of light, and the other is like you can actually see all the individual lights.
Yeah,
it is more vibrant. I would like to see. This is a fairly dull landscape in terms of colors. So while it's vibrant of that. Yeah. They're all dull already, so that just makes it look nice. I think warm and the graffiti looks really nice, and all the stone looks nice. But I'm a fan of it.
I'm going to show you some pictures, but generally, here's why I'm such a big fan of this camera. And like a phone that looks like this, it better have a good camera, right? You pull this out at a party or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like this is for the camera. Dynamic range and fine detail.
Okay.
Those are the 2 things that this phone does really, really well. Sometimes it overdoes the HDR, but in general, dynamic range and fine detail. The Leica color thing, it's okay. I'm not always a fan of Leica color, but they do have the ability to toggle between Leica natural color and Leica vivid color or something like that.
Okay.
I've kind of gone back and forth, but I've taken more with vivid than natural.
Really?
But really, here, actually, I'm going to add a third thing.
Okay.
Now that I'm rambling. So it's dynamic range, it is fine detail, and it is shutter speed.
Okay.
All those things combined. So I take pictures of fast-moving objects, and they freeze. Look at this photo I just took with the 5X lens. That is really good. It's shooting with sunlight behind the subject.
That is a really nice photo.
Really good fine detail and dynamic range. And I don't even think twice about if the subject's moving or not. It's going to freeze it no matter what, which is awesome if you're taking pictures of like moving dogs. We took a lot of pictures of a dog.
Your kids.
Or
at the zoo.
Probably the number one thing people take pictures on with smartphones. So it does great with that. And then you take photos like directly into the sun. Just overall, I'm very impressed with a lot of these pictures. You remember Zuri sprinting around earlier? The dog was just a blur before. Didn't ever stop moving. But lots of pictures with the shallow depth of field of just the dog seemingly frozen in place. Here's one I took last night. Feel free to zoom in on the depth of field on the cleats versus the ground behind it. That does not look like a smartphone photo.
This looks fantastic. And not just that, but there's also like reflections in the water that's on the ground, and
it handles all the highlights.
Really nice
noise
bokeh in the back. Yeah, and like your cleats have a lot of detail on them, which it's nailing. You can see like the dirt and all the different and the laces and the fly knit. And
I take a picture like that on pretty much every phone I test because I probably have practiced that week of whatever week I'm testing a phone.
Man, and the gravel too.
Yeah, I was just very impressed
The
with that.
gravel is a great, so like for audio listeners, this is a picture of Marques sitting down on the ground with his feet in front of him and then just kind of the field. He's on asphalt, then there's grass, then there's people in the grass, and there's a skyline in the background. But on the asphalt, you can see the just roll off of
the focus roll off.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah. And it rolls off into like the puddle.
Yeah.
It's so good. So listen, I still have some more testing to do. I'm working on the video. There are some quirks and weird things about it that I still don't like. Like, it is a huge sensor, and it still fringes when you get really close to subjects.
Mm-hmm.
It still loves to try to switch to the ultra-wide macro when you get even closer to a subject. I'm going to show you one more picture that I took on the roof.
I can tell you real quick while you're pulling this up, one thing I very much dislike about it, and the fake leather back is terrible. Yeah. Don't do this on a smartphone. I feel like the fake leather back is what a lot of cheaper phones do to try and feel more premium. And this makes it feel like a cheaper phone, even though this is
It's not a good fake leather.
It's not a good fake leather.
There are some good fake leathers.
I have yet to feel that.
There are some bad
that
fake
I can
leathers.
remember. Yeah.
This is bad.
Don't like it at all.
You know the roof of this building?
Yeah.
Super windy. And you know those plants up on the roof that just like wave back and forth in the wind? Frozen in time, shallow depth of field.
Okay.
Just straight, like, captured it, didn't even think twice. The thing was blowing back and forth in and out of the frame.
Really?
And it happened to get in the middle of the frame and nailed that shot. Dynamic range is on point, no noise. Like, it has the highest ceiling of any smartphone camera I've ever used. I think that's my hot take.
All right. Early contender for some awards in the future.
It's really good.
It's gonna be hard to beat that from what I've seen. But yeah,
you heard the Minion name here first. I think we're gonna try to do a Minion thumbnail for this review.
Of course, obviously. And I also heard you're wearing overalls for the review.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
You heard it here first.
Yellow.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, no, it's a high-end phone.
Yeah, well, I think everything else we'll go over in the video, which you should see pretty shortly.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week, maybe.
No pressure. I'll try to have it out by the episode.
Oh, let's put the pressure on.
Yeah.
Everyone tweet at him nonstop. That's what he loves. That's the best way to get videos fast, is to just constantly berate your favorite content creator with the thing that you want that they might not be working on, but I promise you it works perfectly. Thank you so much for watching that clip. Hey, Zuri. Okay, well, we have another dog in the studio today, Zuri. She's very tired from her first day at work. She woke up. She's looking at us right now. Big stretch. Maybe. Come here. No. Okay. Well, instead of that, we're going to put a picture of her up on the camera right here. Very cute. New office dog. Everyone should probably leave a like and a comment for new office dog.
It was taken on the Minion phone.
Was it? Oh, that's a good...
Yeah.
Zuri's got a lot of interesting colors too, so like you'll really be able to see the dynamic range and the details. She's just staring at us right now. I feel like she's very ready to go home.
Yeah.
Me too.
Shout out to Zuri.
Shout out. Like and subscribe. And say, comment good girl Zuri.
She just has like the just woke up like, hair.
Okay, that's enough of this clip. Thank you.